Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us today. I'm State Representative Andrew Carlson. And as we all know, the coronavirus pandemic and the related economic fallout have hit the hospitality industry especially hard. While nearly every sector of the economy has experienced the loss of jobs, the amount of job loss in the hospitality businesses has been devastating. House File 39 seeks to address the situation by requiring hospitality employers to rehire their workers laid off during the pandemic when it makes sense for them to start rehiring again. Hospitality employees, many of whom are people of color, have been especially hard hit by COVID-19. As a result, these workers have borne the brunt of the massive layoffs that have occurred because of the pandemic. At hotels especially, laid off workers are nearly 90% people of color and mostly women. Ensuring the rights of these workers to return to the jobs they held pre-pandemic is a critical issue for racial justice as our economy recovers from COVID-19. In addition to protecting workers, House File 39 helps achieve a key ingredient for the speed of our overall economic recovery, which is maintaining established employer-employee relationships. In short, this common sense legislation will help stabilize an important part of the Minnesota economy as businesses and workers alike recover together from the COVID-19 crisis. Again, thank you all for being here today. Our next speaker is Tammy Houston. Tamara, why don't you take it away?
Thank you. My name is Tammy Houston. I'm a lead server at the Delta Hotel by Marriott in Minneapolis. I worked there since 2016, but have been laid off since March 15th of 2020 because of COVID-19. I absolutely love my job at the Delta Hotel. I love the people that I work with. And before COVID, I had a lot of customers that would come back regularly because they would always come to the same hotel in business. I would get to know them and I want to be back there. When I found the job, I never planned on having another job until I retired. It was the first time in my life that I was able to only work one job. I had never had a job that I wanted to stay at for the rest of my life, but I worked long and hard to get to where I am. Being laid off for so long has been really hard. I need to work. I'm going to be 60 years old in April, and I've applied for probably 20 other jobs. I've only had 3 interviews and haven't gotten any of them. I've never
It looks like we might be having some internet connection issues with Tammy. Why don't we go to Willie Jones now?
Good morning and hello, everyone. My name is Willie Jones Jr. I'm a proud member of SEIU Local 26, and I've worked building security and been an event staffing supervisor for 5 years with West. I've worked at Minneapolis Convention Center, the U of M, U.S. Bank Stadium, and Minnesota State Fair. I've done this work for over 20 years, working for the big event celebrities, making sure events ran smoothly. I like being able to help, making sure people are comfortable and safe at events, helping them have a great experience at the events they attend. Last year after COVID, we slowly started losing events, but I kept working April until August at a reduced hours. During that time, I only went to work and went home, but I still caught the COVID. And I had a terrible time. When I had to miss work, my job didn't support or pay me. The only support I got was a check from my union. Otherwise, on my own. So many people have given up so much during this pandemic. I am one of over 750 members of my union who got COVID in the last year. 4 of our union families have died from COVID. In the last 5 months, I've been mostly laid off, working less than 2 weeks, totally at the time. mostly getting called in when someone missed a shift. I would be devastated if we didn't have our jobs when things get back into normal. We literally risk our lives at the job. We really are first responders. We really have to come to the people or come to the problem before the officers or the ambulance or the fire departments get there. Not just during COVID, but before, when we have to work with angry and drunk people. It would be terrible if our employees use this to get rid of the employees. Many of my coworkers have worked there for 10 and 15 years. I'm worried that they would change the jobs slightly or require new things after we are all back, causing many of us to lose jobs. We've done so well for all these years. We shouldn't get kicked to the curb because of the pandemic. We need to put politicians to step up to make sure no employee use this pandemic as an excuse to get rid of experienced employees. Employees should be playing games. Employees should be playing games after all that we have done for them. There is no reason our jobs should be there for us when things get back to normal. We were laid off because of global pandemic, which isn't any of our fault. It shouldn't be a question that we all have our jobs when things open back up. I am thankful to hear there's a bill at the Capitol that would stop this from happening. I am hope this bill passes easily and we can be confident we will still have our jobs when we finally get past this pandemic. Thank you. And the speaker is in Mr. Thomas' hands.
Hi, my name is Jamel Thomas. I'm a cook at the Marquette Hotel, and I've worked there since 2004. I've been laid off since March 17, 2020 because of COVID-19. I love working at the Marquette. I started out as a dishwasher, then I became a pantry cook. Then I started broilers, sautés, and fryers. I learned how to do it all. I was cooking for banquets, room service, and the restaurant. Everything and everything. Hold on. It's nothing.
Great. I think we're having some more technical issues. Maybe we'll just pause for a second here.
Oh, our coworkers were like family there. Some days I would start at 5 a.m., work my shift, and have to come back at night and work until 10 p.m. I was willing to do it because it was a good job. After the first couple of weeks, it started wearing on me. The unemployment helped a little bit, but I've got bills piling up and need more money. I got a doctor bill when I didn't know my insurance had stopped. I'm not the only one that got that medical bill either, almost without a warning. We got people here struggling, trying to survive without our jobs. Sometimes driving home from doing errands for my family, I'll go out the way, drive by the Marquette Hotel just to see what is going on. I see the curtains closed and I just shake my head like, man, 17 years. I'd be happy, more than happy, to know if I can go back. I want to retire there. I want to stay there as long as I can stand on my own 2 feet and work. Working at the hotel has been my livelihood, my survival. Rain, sleet, nor snow could stop me from going to my job. I miss the place. I'm not going to lie. I have dreams about the place, honestly. Sometimes I wake up in the morning thinking I'm about to go to work. Then I realized, oh, this is COVID-19 season. I would feel like I got a knife in my back if they gave my job to someone else. I've been loyal to this job. I'm 52 years old. The companies might just see me as another old man if I try to fill out an application somewhere else. If I could find work here, I'd have to leave Minnesota if I couldn't find work here. I don't want to do that. This place is my home to me. I talked to some of the other workers and we all want to go back. It is no one's fault that the COVID-19 happened. We're just asking to be sure for politicians to make sure that we can go back to our jobs eventually, so we can go back to the way that things were, or maybe even better than before. Thank you.
Okay, and now we'll hand it off to Majority Leader Winkler.
Good morning. Thank you for being with us and listening to the stories of workers who have been laid off through no fault of their own and who need to have the security of knowing their job will be there for them when their facilities open back up. We've rightfully talked a lot about the impact of COVID-19 on business and the economy. Those are vitally important. But we have not spent enough time focusing on the everyday heroes who have gone without their jobs for so long in order to protect all of us. Restaurant workers, hotel workers, event center workers, join the list along with firefighters, police officers, nurses, and doctors who are on the front lines of COVID-19. When the economy opens back up, when people feel safe and secure going to events again, the workers who've been there smiling, taking care of them, working for them for years need to be back on the job. This bill is designed to make sure that workers come first as this recovery comes around this spring. Workers need to be first. And as those experienced workers come back on the job, we can all be sure that the same high level of service that we have come to expect will be there for us. Businesses will have the confidence of continuity of workers who know the job, and Minnesotans can feel good that those who've sacrificed so much to keep all of us healthy and safe have something to look forward to at the end of this pandemic. And we can take questions now.
All right, if you'd like to enter your question into the chat or use the raise hand function. Got a question. Can you talk about what the bill entails and how it will make a difference? Representative Carlson, you want to take that one?
Sure. So I think we touched on a lot of the benefits. You know, this is a worker protection bill, and the benefits that will come through there. So maybe another way of just providing some additional information to that question is that the bill won't create any additional financial cost to businesses. It simply requires employers to rehire the workers who they employed prior to COVID-19 as business demands allow for it. The bill will help maintain established employer-employee relationships, which are critical to the speed of the overall economic recovery. I mean, we can go into details in terms of how, you know, the bill is very narrow in terms of its focus, in terms of the employers that would be covered by this. Maybe I'll just list those real quickly for some context. This would include hotels over 75 rooms, large event centers, building maintenance and security services, and airport hospitality workers. So those are the very specific sectors within the hospitality industry that would be impacted by the bill.
Our next question is from Steve Karnowski. He asks, are there plans for hearings? Any companion bill in the Senate? And is there any Republican support so far?
Yeah, so a couple questions there. The bill has been heard in the Labor Committee. There is, due to an amendment that an author's amendment at the time requires it to go to Judiciary. That hearing is tomorrow. And we do have Senator Bobby Joe Champion as the lead or chief Senate author. So that, I believe, will be introduced this week on the Senate side. So that's the path forward in the House, and hopefully there'll be a path forward within the Senate as well. And I don't know if there was a second question in that question. Did I miss that?
Just that is there any Republican support so far?
Oh, sure, of course. Very, very important question. So, I mean, every legislator wants their bill to have bipartisan support. But I think the question we should be asking is, does the bill help Minnesota workers and speed up the state of our economy here in Minnesota? And the answer to that question is yes.
All right, any other questions on this bill or topic? Let's give folks a second here. Not seeing any. Tori, do you want to ask your question? Oh, I'm sorry. Steve just quickly asked, is there any kind of enforcement mechanism? And then we'll go right to Tori after that. Sorry, Tori.
Yes, there is. This is working in conjunction with the Department of Labor and Industry that would provide for the assistance when basically this is a private right of action. So if an employee wanted to seek relief with the courts, then DLI would provide for the backup regulatory assistance with those employees. And to be clear, hopefully the remedy through that situation would be rehire of those employees, assuming they qualify.
Matt, can I go?
Yep, it's all you, Tori.
Sure. Hey, Leader Winkler, I had a question about the SAFE Act, the public safety fund for the trials. Not watching it because we're here right now, but I guess I saw that there aren't going to be votes in Ways and Means today, that it's informational only, and wondering if there's any holdup or something happening on the House side. Do you still expect floor votes on that this week? Kind of what's going on there?
Well, we know that in order to get the funds available for local law enforcement to be there in the city of Minneapolis in the event of unfortunate actions by some in the phase of the trial that's coming up, we know that we need Republican support in the House and or in the Senate. And so it's not really an informational hearing exactly. It's more of an opportunity to present the bill, present concerns from Republicans, and see the amendment proposed by Republicans and find out if there's a workable compromise where we could get bipartisan support to move the bill out of the House. It's difficult to imagine being able to get this bill passed and money available to law enforcement without having bipartisan support, and that's what we're working towards.
Does your caucus have the votes to pass it as the bill is right now, without these Republican amendments?
We believe we have the votes to pass the bill as is. Of course, we have not brought it to the floor and the process isn't completed, but we think we would have the votes to pass it as is. The issue is we would be passing into nowhere without a Republican buy-in, either in the Senate or in the House. So we need to find a way to get them on board in order to make this possible. And I really think lawmakers have to be very careful to consider the consequences of not having mutual aid available for the city of Minneapolis during the Chauvin trial. It's an event that would rival the Super Bowl or the Republican National Convention in terms of outsiders coming into the city. The security need in the city would be significant. We need to make sure that communities have an opportunity to petition their government to peacefully assemble, to protest, and not have that community response be hampered by outside actors who are trying to turn it violent. So in many ways, we have to be well prepared, and lawmakers should be responsible enough to recognize that that will take resources beyond the city of Minneapolis. And that's what this fund is designed to make sure, that we have the resources available to help.
Any final questions from reporters before we close? All right, thank you all very much for being here.
Thank you.